You have not arrived here by chance. There is a silent movement happening within you, older than your memories and stronger than the doubts you tried to silence. Do you know those days when the world does not seem to see the weight you carry? It was not oblivion. It was preparation. While everyone saw only routine, I, the Lord, watched the seed I put inside her silence. There is a difference between surviving and being shaped. And you are not just resisting, you are being cut. That is why the pain was not random. The delay was no neglect. I hid something precious inside you because it wasn't time yet. But now, it is. The time when her strength seemed to fail was being used to found deeper roots. You thought it was weakness, but it was excavation. I was digging within your soul a space where my glory could live. The emptiness he felt was the echo of the place that was being prepared for the promise. You thought I was distant, but I was closer than ever. Each prayer whispered in the dark, every tear swallows to maintain peace. Each time you chose love instead of pride, I saw. Nothing went unnoticed. And that's why now, right now, I'm coming to you. Not to accuse, not to charge, but to reveal what had been kept secret, a force within you that neither time nor pain, nor the opposing words managed to erase. You are more than you thought it was. And this journey that begins today is not a repetition, it is a repositioning. Stay here. There is something from heaven being released. And if you are feeling something move inside you now, don't ignore it, it's the wake of a new season. You thought the silence was rejection, but it was actually protection. Protection so that no one discovered ahead of time what I hid inside you myself. There was something that could only flourish when life pressures were no longer able to divert you, when you were no longer willing to negotiate your identity by acceptance. That time has come. You carry within yourself an essence that the world tried to erase. The weight of responsibilities, constant care with others, silent renunciations, all of this has not nullified. Forged you, molded into you a force that does not need stage to exist. A discreet but unbeatable anointing. Behind his struggles, I was building authority. Behind the tiredness, wisdom. Behind the tears, discernment. And even on the days when you thought you was alone, I was there. Watching when everyone slept and you were still standing. When no one noticed the struggle that looked inside, I was telling the silent steps you took by faith. Every effort, every gesture, every yes given to me when it all shouted give up, all has eternal weight. Now it's time to unlock what was sealed. What you called heavy routine was, in fact, a spiritual training field. You have been aligned, proven, emptied, to now be filled with what comes from above. It was not just resistance. It was divine investment. And the time has come for you to realize who it really is. Not with human eyes, but with the eyes of the Spirit. Because what is about to be activated in you will require maturity, not to get lost with the applause, wisdom not to give in to pride, and faith to continue even understanding everything right away. If this word is already making your heart burn, then remain. The sky is still releasing truths you need to hear. You always thought you were just surviving. That what I felt in the body, in the soul, in the tiredness of the days was just emotional wear and tear. But the truth is different. While you believed you were on the edge, I was drawing the scenery of your turn. What seemed abandonment was strategy. I preserved what I put in you, just so that it was not stolen ahead of time. You have already gotten used to giving everything about yourself, to renounce their own desires to take care of others, to swallow words to maintain peace, carrying pain in silence so as not to worry anyone. And yet, you thought it was just tiredness of life. But it wasn't. It was a sign that you carry something rare in essence that I modeled with invisible tears, with silent faith, with gestures that no one has seen. There is a cloak about you, and no matter how much try to start it, it is engraved in your soul. This is why you feel a restlessness that is not explained. That's why so many trials happen, because the enemy can't stand the light you carry, even when you think you're off. But today, I come to remember that this light was lit by me. And when I turn, no one can turn off. The repositioning arrived. I know your home, every detail no one sees. I know every prayer made in thought, every whispered name without voice, every fear locked in the chest. Nothing escaped my attention. And that's why now I go down with response, healing, release. Get ready to see things happening that you didn't imagine anymore. Areas of your life that looked lost, dry, sterile will be played with Renovo. Because what is coming is not small. It is a change of course. It is a visible sign of the invisible that was already moving in your favor. Stay with me. What I am about to reveal may be what will change the whole way you see your own story. You have already faced nights that seem to have no end. He took care of those who needed, even when you were on the edge of the collapse. He silenced deep pain so as not to overwhelm the others. And yet, it continued. A lot inside you said it wouldn't give it anymore. But something beyond reason insisted, be firm. This persistence did not come from you, it was me. I put inside you a promise. And unlike many think, promises don't win, mature. A few words you thought were forgotten, they were just incubated. And while you thought you were being forgotten, I was aligning everything behind the scenes. Not to punish you, but to prepare you for the weight of the coming blessing. You will no longer be the same, because you are about to recognize your own voice again. The voice that's silent to keep the environment alone. The voice that's silent not to get lost in useless discussions. The voice that was suffocated by doubt, but that I am making reborn with clarity and authority. You know what it is to love and take care of without receiving in return. You know what it is to keep your heart clean, even being injured. This, for many, is weakness, but to heaven, it is the foundation of spiritual authority. And that's why today I'm activating what I left inside you. It is not something new. It is old being finally revealed. The time has come to leave the hiding place. The time to hide is over. The time to be visible with purpose has come. And no theme what I have prepared in silence will now be manifest in honor. You will not be confused, nor embarrassed. What seemed forgotten will soon be exalted before all. Continue here. There is more unlocked in the invisible, and you are about to access territory that once seemed unreachable. You thought you were hiding, but in fact, it was being kept. It was not exclusion, it was preservation. Many did not understand the reason for your retraction, why your absence in certain environments. But I understood. I hid for you at the right time, so that what I built inside you would not be destroyed by external pressures ahead of time. There were alliances being formed in the dark to wage your promise. Words being launched, plans being armed. And even without knowing any of this, you were spared. Because my hand was on you. If you're still standing, it's not luckily. It's because I got you rid of traps that you didn't even notice. I was the one who closed doors that you so wanted to open. I was the one who blocked ways that looked right. And today, more clearly, you begin to understand that all this was strategy. It was not the time of visibility. It was the time of rooting. Now that everything is ready, I declare the doors that have been closed for years will start to open. In places where they said you would never have access, I will make room myself. Because when I reveal, nothing can prevent. What seemed an endless cycle now turns into a start. Not any restart, but one that carries a cloak of anointing and evidence. You have been forged on the fire, but will be recognized in the anointing. The people who ignored you will be the ones who will need to hear what you have to say. And all this will not be to feed the ego. It will be to fulfill what I promised. There are promises on your lineage that will pass you, promises that your parents could not see, but that I will put in your hands. If this word is repositioning you inside, know there is more. The sky has not finished talking. You have already wondered why the attack was so intense, why the tiredness came like a wave, why sometimes everything seemed to crumble at once. The answer is simple, yet deep. You are key. I chose you to unlock destinations. And every key carries pressure before opening doors. The trials that surrounded you were not just random. They were attempts from the enemy to prevent you from accessing the purpose you carry. The silence you endured, the doubts you faced, the absences you felt, all this was part of a cycle of resistance against what I had already sealed about you. But today, this cycle is closed. I put an end point on the interruptions. What is yours by promise, no one can take. Anyone who tries to resist will see my justice. Because what I have released upon your life has an eternal seal. And heaven's seal cannot be revoked by the earth. You held too much strands at the same time. He took care of the health of others while his screaming for attention. Managed relationships that sucked more than they offered. He endured words that hurt, and yet he kept his heart clean. You surpassed more than you imagined, even when you seemed to be on the brink of collapse. As you thought you were being forgotten, I was refining you. While you thought you was wasting time, I was shaping you. Values that almost no one else preserves, you have preserved. This has not gone unnoticed. That's why you now become a visible channel of my will. Gifts that have been silenced for convenience are now being called back. They were not dead, just dormant. And now they will start to sprout hard, clearly directed. The voice that has silent for prudence will now rise wisely. Stay tuned. There is a sound from heaven being released, and he carries your name. The time has come to raise your head. The time to hide ended. What was once invisible will now be revealed, but not for vanity, by purpose. For a long time, you tried to adapt to molds that were never yours. You tried to fit structures that couldn't stand what you carry, and that hurt you. But now, in repositioning you with a firm identity, you felt it was different, and it was. Because what I planted in you was not made to be generic. It was made to mark generations. There is a sound on you that needs to echo. There is a light that needs to break. And no matter how much the world tried to erase, she is still lit because it was me who lit. While many judged their break as weakness, I saw as a process. As they questioned their absence, I was healing what no one knew. I shaped its sensitivity in silence. And what was once interpreted as weakness will now be a channel of spiritual authority. What was wounded became a scar, and every scar carries a testimony. You will no longer be confused with the environment around you, because now you don't fit what we wear out. You discern. You know where to stay and know where to withdraw from. This is maturity. This is the result of the fire that you crossed without losing your faith. The time of anonymity was a school, but now the time of visibility has come with purpose. You will not just speak for speaking. Your words will be directed. They will be weight. They will have a cure. Your presence will not be ignored. She will carry peace. Where you step, the environment will change. Because I'm with you. If something inside you is being awakened, don't ignore. The sky continues to speak, and the next step is already being revealed. While you looked around and saw people advancing easily, conquering, smiling, celebrating, you wondered, what about me? Is it still part of the plan? I saw this question. I saw when he graduated in the silence of your thoughts, between one task and another. And even before the question won strength, I had already written the answer. You never got out of my plans. You fought to maintain the basics, worked when the body was barely answered, gave up dreams to support other lives. And yet, he reached out. Even without recognition, it remained. And that is what moves me, your silent faithfulness. You didn't do it for spotlight. You did for love. And the sky honors that. There is a new cycle being released over your life. Not as a reward for human effort, but as divine alignment. While you believed time was still, I was organizing connections that you didn't even know you needed. People who seemed distant will cross their way. Opportunities that were locked will open effortlessly. Because now you are mature enough not to get lost in what will come. You have been kept because of what you carry. Some doors were closed not because you were not able, but because you were too valuable to enter where you would make you lose your focus. People were removed, not for lack of affection, but for spiritual protection. Now you understand what seemed abandonment was armor. The flowering time has come, and you will flourish even in the concrete. What seemed a delay was protection. I prevented him from tied to alliances that would drain his light. And today, after so many difficult stations, I come to say clearly you're ready. Remain sensitive, because heaven is preparing the details of your advance. And each step will make sense. You may not know, but there is a new authority about your life. She was not learned in books. She was born in the valley, grew in silence. It was cut in pain. Every tear you poured out, every injustice you endured in silence, every renunciation you did for love, all this turned into oil. And it is this oil that now drips upon you. The world tried to measure you by appearances, judged your weakness, ignored your effort. But I saw the heart that chose to continue even without answers. I saw when you extended your hand to those who injured you, when you silent so you don't cause more pain, when he preferred to maintain communion than proving he was right. This is spiritual greatness. This is what moves the sky. You have matured in the invisible, and that is why now your voice will be heard with respect, not for the volume, but by depth. What you have to say carries marks, scars, and that does not generate pity, generates authority. Because those who pass by fire and not burn themselves carry something that cannot be taught: authenticity. The time has come, not just material blessings, but of internal fruits. The lightness will return, hope will flourish, and even your way of seeing life will be renewed. You will feel whole again, not because everything around has changed, but because inside you were restored. What was once just survival now will be full. You will have pleasure again in the simple routines. You will feel joy where there was once weight. You will see beauty where there was only effort before. Because I am healing not only your body, but your soul. If this word is finding your heart, get firm. The next few days will bring confirmations that will leave no doubt. You thought your usefulness had been exhausted, that the opportunities had already passed. That time had led to his strength, his courage, his relevance. But today I tell you the best is not left behind. What is to come is greater than anything you have ever lived. I prepared meetings that will change the course of your story, not by chance, not by luck, but for a purpose that resisted the difficult stations and flourished in your faithfulness. Even when you didn't understand, you remained. Even when it seemed nothing was happening, you continued. And now, you'll see what I kept for those who don't retreat. I am activating forgotten gifts. Words that have been choked on fear or insecurity will now come back boldly. Hidden wisdom will be naturally revealed. You will walk through paths that once seemed closed, and what was taking years will happen in weeks. But no theme, I will be with you in every step. The pain of waiting shaped you a maturity that few have. The disappointments did not harm you, they cut your vision. So today I honor you. Because even tired, you chose to love. Even disappointed, you chose not to retaliate. It glorifies me. Honor will be released upon your life. Those who ignored their value will see the difference. Situations that seemed out of control will naturally align, because I am preparing the scenario of your revelation. Nothing you lived will be wasted. Not even the tears. Not even the nights in clear. Not even what you handed in secret. Continue with me. What is about to be activated goes beyond your expectations and will be visible even to those who did not believe. You thought you were late, out of time, that something was lost along the way, but not lost. It was only redirected. Because what I write, no one erases. And what seemed confusing is now being placed in order, not by force, but by revelation. I am unlocking environments, hearts, decisions. People who once resisted now will start to open. Resources that were locked will start to flow. Because when I decide to act, there is no resistance that prevails. Your faithfulness will be honored. I saw when you chose to do the right, even without applause. When you forgave it in silence. When it swallowed words so as not to hurt. When it gave up reason to maintain communion. None of this went unnoticed. And now, heaven releases upon you a peace that will be visible in the environments where you pass. The tensions that once dominated your house, your work, your mind are being undone. I am entering reconciliation where there was distance. I am rebuilding ties that seemed unrecoverable. Because I don't just restore appearance, I restore the essence. Ancient wounds of the soul, trauma that have been covered, words that marked all this is being torn by the root. The lightness that will come will be like a new station within you. Joy will return to little things. You will see my care again, even in the details. You were faithful even in the desert. And that is why now, the oasis will not be illusion, it will be reality. You will not only survive, you will live fully. There are things that are only understood after they bloom. And now you will start to see the value of each lived season. Every renunciation, every silent prayer, every gesture of love no one applauded I saw. And I am rewarding with full life. You will feel lightly on what was once weight. Wisdom where there was doubt. Love where before there was only tiredness. Am aligning affections, priorities, and even how you see yourself. What once made you feel small now will be seen as part of your preparation. Some connections will end, not by conflict, but by purpose. What no longer builds will be removed with wisdom and peace. You do not need to justify yourself. You do not need to break aggressively. I myself will end cycles gently and make room for relationships with purpose. The seeds you planted in silence are germinating. Even though human eyes still seem invisible, in the spirit are already in motion. I am accelerating answers and releasing unexpected provisions. You will see doors opening where you never imagined. You will feel rest where there was only fighting before. Because the time of the harvest has arrived. And it will not be fleeting, it will be stable, deep, sustained by your faithfulness. Everything that didn't seem to make sense now begins to connect, as pieces that fit a larger plane. And you will understand that nothing that lived was waste, it was a foundation. Now prepare your heart. What is to come is not the end of a story, it is the beginning of a mission. You have come here not only because it has resisted, but because it was supported by something that is not from this world. While others didn't understand how you still stood, I knew it was my hand holding you in silence. Now a new time begins. It will not be marked by haste, but by clarity. You no longer need to shape to please. You will know where it should be. You will know what you need to say. You'll know the time to move forward without fear. Because now your maturity protects you. The environments that once intimidated you will not paralyze you now. Opinions that once confused you, now there will be no more space within you. I gave you a new vision, and with her, a new rhythm. You will walk without weight, without guilt, without excessive charge. It will walk with meaning. Your words will be healing for others. Your presence will be shelter. Your scars will become a living testimony that grace is stronger than any pain. You are not just someone who survived, you are someone who has won to drive. Now look forward. The sky is unlocking connections, opportunities, ideas, and movements that we're expecting only the right time. And the moment is now. Don't be afraid to position yourself, to release what you carry, of being exactly who I formed to be. If that word has deeply touched your spirit, don't let it stop you. Share with someone you need. Subscribe here to keep listening to what the sky has said. This channel is a healing, direction, and renewal altar, and you are part of it. Because what started here is not over yet. It's just starting and goes beyond what you imagined.